What's going on, man? It's your boy Sule's Music. You are now tuned in to me and my boy Young Atlas, and we about to lock in. Let's do it.
Driving in the Ultima, visualizing the latest jet. People in my hood think I made it, but I ain't make it yet. The caption is open, you lack of the focus. The craft and devotion, the sack is half the rappers is broken. Relaxed and I'm poking while drinking on the ratchet is potion until the weather shine. Her name was Bree, so I better line.
Thank you for sitting down with us.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for having me here, man. Thank you.
Of course, man. So let's just get right into it. Where are you from?
Born and raised in Englewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
Shout out to Bergen County, right?
Up. Jersey in the building. So tell me a little bit about the hip hop scene over there. Were a lot of your friends artists, or how did you kind of get into it?
I've been rapping since I was 9 years old. Initially, because my father, he actually is a music artist or whatever. He used to rap or whatever, so he used to always have me like in the studio.
Gotcha.
I used to be around the studio atmosphere since I was about like 9, 8. Even before I was even actually writing music myself, I was always just kind of like around the environment. And then I took the initiative and started recording my own and really mixing and mastering on my own. And ever since then, it's been lit. But as far as Bergen County goes, it's a lot of talented artists like out of Bergen County.
Right.
In Jersey in general, but specifically, like I'm gonna speak from where I'm from, which is Bergen County. Like we got a lot of artists. Like shout out to my boy Rich, he's from Hackensack. My boy Dash from Hackensack. My sister Coyle Ray, she's from Hackensack as well.
Okay.
So we got a lot of people up and coming that's really doing their thing, man.
Word. So speaking about when you first started off, like who were some artists that like inspired you that you were maybe listening to when you first were growing up?
I grew up in a house like with a lot of hip hop because my dad and my mom's like they're straight hip hop heads, so they had me listening to like a lot of like Big L, Nas, Jay-Z, and kind of like around like the Diplomat era. So I listened to a lot of Joel Santana, Cameron, like around that time. So
Gotcha.
like yeah.
No, that's what's up. Speaking of current artists, who's maybe some artists you've been currently listening to that are hip hop artists specifically?
Current artists, definitely been listening to, of course, like the Drakes, the Kendrick Lamars, J. Cole's. I also been listening to a lot of underground artists, kind of like as far as like shout out to Westside Gun, Benny the Butcher, and Griselda. Like kind of like who else? Shout out to Don Q, Davies is dope too.
Right.
I listen to a lot of everything, bro. I listen to a lot of rap, R&B, whatever. I'm just a musical person, so it's not even just like one particular style of music that I listen to. It's just like I'm kind of like into everything.
Yeah, that's what's up. Just a question I like to ask some artists, because everyone has their specific flows, right, of who would sound well on a track. Let's say specifically with you.
Right.
If you had to get into the booth with one of those artists you just named currently, like who's maybe an artist you would love to, have an ideal feature or collab with?
J. Cole, definitely.
J. Cole? Okay.
J. Cole is like my favorite artist. Like he's been my favorite artist for like a numerous amount of years now, ever since like the Come Up project and the Warm Up and Friday Night Light, even before around like Friday Night Lights time. So like J. Cole is definitely one of my favorite artists that I would love to collab with. It's definitely gonna happen though.
J. Cole, because I've asked that question to a lot of artists that have stopped by and done interviews with us, and J. Cole is that's what a lot of them say. So,
Yeah, J. Cole's dope.
Yeah, he's spitting some real stuff out there.
Yeah, bro.
Not for sure. All right, so just jumping back into it a little bit more. I know you've been, you say you started rapping when you were 9. Like, was it then, or when did you really decide, like, listen, I want to make a career out of, being an artist?
Honestly, when I graduated, like when I graduated high school, because I was always into writing music and just music in general. Mm-hmm. It's just like once I graduated high school and I started going to college, I started going to school like I went to school for psychology, and it's like I wasn't really interested in like what I was studying, so it was kind of like I was more so big on this like I'm big on making a career out of something that you love and not because it makes you money. So I feel like music is where my heart is. So it's just like I started to really take it serious, and I just woke up one morning and was like, nah, I'm gonna do this for real. Like this is what I'm gonna dedicate all my time and all my effort to. So once I graduated high school, it kind of like really like set off to where it really got real for me.
Because I see you're at a spot now where you're doing shows. You're getting featured in some really prominent platforms. Like, starting off, because I feel like this is an important, topic. Just when you want to take it seriously, right? Like, what are
Right.
some of the first few steps when you made that decision that you started to really do to take, to really show that you were serious about being an artist?
Just locking in, going to the studio every day. You have to legit network with different producers, different artists, and really start taking your professionalism serious. Like as far as like you gotta go out to these events and really show your face to people. You gotta separate yourself from an artist and actually look at yourself as a brand and a business at the same time. So it's like you really gotta look into knowing the business and protecting yourself in the industry because like this is an industry where it's kind of like do or die. So you got to cover your tracks at all times. So just really separating yourself and really getting to know the business and getting to know the business and really branding yourself like outside of being an artist.
For sure. Speaking of the business, I know we were talking about this a little outside of the interview. Like, when it comes to management, which is an important aspect of anyone's career, like,
Right.
have you previously? I know you don't have it currently. Did you previously have some management that you were maybe working with?
Yeah, I've had my fair share of management.
Okay. What's been some of the struggles with that?
Certain people jump into it and don't really have the connections for it. A lot of people don't really have like the knowledge for like I don't know. Like it's a lot of people that don't really know the terminology like of what management is. So it's like once you dedicate yourself to being somebody's manager, like you have to make them a priority and really kind of like gain like stuff that you don't know. You have to be willing to know, and a lot of people aren't willing to take the extra mile to really make sure that their artist is really out there. So I feel like
Yeah, that makes sense. What's now that you've had that experience and you've learned from it, what are some things you would look for in a manager?
Time and dedication and definitely like knowledge. Like I'm not expecting your manager to be 100% perfect because nobody in the world is perfect. But actually, like the stuff that you don't know, you have to be willing to learn. You have to be always focused on trying to elevate and go to the next step. So it's just ambition, and actually wanting to get out there and really grind and do what you want to do.
So speaking of grinding, what are some goals you have for 2019 this year that you would like to accomplish?
2019, definitely boost up my social media, get more shows going, like and collaborate with a lot of more artists as well, within the rap genre and outside or whatever. Like I collab with I like a lot of R&B, so I definitely want to collab with a lot of more R&B artists and just really branding myself more and making my followers and making my supporters really more connected to Sule as the person rather than Sule the artist. Like having more people understand me as a person.
Got you. So grow the brand, get some more exposure.
Yeah, definitely.
That's some key.
Definitely.
Let's jump into that in a little more specifically and focus on that topic for a sec. Like, what are some smaller like steps in terms of details of how you are trying to grow your exposure and get more followers? Just little things you might do.
Techniques, like people that contact you, whether it's under a picture or in your DM, you got to respond to these people because at the same time, the artist isn't anything without the support system. So I feel like just responding back and being grateful for the people that support you is a big thing.
For sure.
And just really staying updated on content. You got to drop, bro. It's like even if you're not dropping music, you got to give updates on what you're doing or whatever. Like me, I started doing this thing called Sule Sunday. It's like a freestyle that I do every Sunday at 6 o'clock or whatever. I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I'll take a break from it for a couple of months and jump right back into it. But it's kind of like you give your followers something to really appreciate and really look forward to. Because it's like, even if I don't put out music for a certain amount of time, it's just like Sunday, 6 o'clock, he's dropping a freestyle. And so it's kind of like you got to anticipate. Kind of like how people wait for Power every Sunday, you're going to wait for that freestyle every Sunday. So it's just like you got to give consistency to your supporters.
Now that makes a lot of sense. In terms of, because those are really great specifics that's important to grow that engagement with your fans, right? Like dropping a freestyle every Sunday. That's a very specific, smart thing to do.
Right.
What are some things that you would advise other artists to be doing when they're first starting off and they're trying to, they take that step that you did when you were like, listen, I want to take this seriously as a career. Like, what's some advice you would maybe give to an artist that's about to take that next step?
Just stay in the studio and cook up and just kind of like just find yourself as an artist, because like don't box yourself in and make yourself feel, because I know a lot of artists that feel like they have to stick to one particular sound to be a certain kind of artist. Like it's certain people that want to be lyrical. It's certain people that want to be lyrical artists, but they feel like it doesn't fit them. It's a lot of people that want to do melodies that feel like it won't fit them. I just, like me, I'm a person with just like whatever I'm feeling in the morning or whatever, that's just what I do. If I want to make a lyrical song, when I wake up, I'm make a lyrical song. If I want to harmonize, I'm going to harmonize. So don't box yourself into one particular sound. I feel like you should really just find yourself as an artist and just do what you want to do.
Word. In terms of, I really like some of your hip hop, motivators, people that you looked up to, like Jewels and Big L, like you listened to early on. Like, what are some? And I know you have a really big passion for R&B as well. Like, what are some of those artists that you've maybe looked up to that you would like to maybe work with? R&B music.
R&B, definitely Janae Eiko.
Okay.
I would definitely want to collab with Lauryn Hill, Sade.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of the great Aaliyah, rest in peace her soul, whatever. She's like a big influence on my music as well.
For sure.
It's a lot of R&B artists. It's a lot of dope R&B artists that's out right now.
Right. And that's important. It's, a lot of artists don't take that time to really find themselves, or they kind of limit themselves. They, as you said, put themselves in a box.
Yeah.
And it's important to do that, So when you're first starting off, you can see the different kind of flows and styles that you might be able to have.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, you got to be versatile. I respect that. And speaking just, in general, a little outside the music, what are some other interests that you have that aren't just, in music directly?
Like me, I'm a big creative thinker, bro. So I like to read. I like to read a lot. And I'm an artistic person, so I just like going to art, like different kind of like art museums and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
it's just like I'm a big person. Like anything that like visually enhanced, like to the eye, I'm just always. That's why I like going to like museums, art museums and stuff like that or whatever.
Do you have a favorite museum in New York that you...
Museum? Nah, not so much. I done been to so many, but it's been...
That's a tough question.
Definitely,
yeah. No, for sure. In terms of like a book, do you have any book in particular you're reading right now
Right now,
or you're looking forward to jumping into?
Not at the moment, but it's previous books that I definitely like as far as like The Alchemist and The Four Agreements are kind of like my two favorite books.
Okay.
Because it's more of a self-development book, and it kind of like it teaches you how to really kind of like balance out like with the universe and just speak everything into existence. Because I'm big on energy, so I'm just definitely big on just making yourself a better person and just enhancing mentally and physically as a person. So
Gotcha.
The Alchemist, definitely I would recommend, and The Four Agreements I would definitely recommend.
For sure. And then I wanted to just ask you, also, like, what is some music you have out that you're promoting? Any new singles, albums?
I just actually dropped my new single, EXO. It's actually on Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal. Make sure you go stream.
Okay.
On Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal, stream EXO. It's been out for like 2 weeks. The streams are going crazy. I have 2 projects out, one called Jackin' for Beats. That's on SoundCloud, but Park Avenue is my debut actually project. You can stream that on Apple Music, Spotify, and Tidal as well. So I got 2 projects out. I got a new single, and I got more new music dropping. So I got a lot of stuff in the pot.
For sure. I'm looking at your Instagram, and I wanted you to explain this one picture. I think it's with you and Jungle from Mass Appeal.
Yeah.
Can you explain what's going on in that picture?
That was when my boy Chris. Shout out to my boy Chris. Chris Murphy. That's actually Charlie Murphy's son. He brought me up to the Mass Appeal studio to actually talk to Jungle and play him some music or whatever. Jungle is definitely one of the most down to earth people that I've met in the industry. And like, you know, I just came to the studio, we chopped it up. We chopped it up for about like good like 2 hours before I even played him any music. Just he was just giving me kind of like guidance on what to look out for, and just basically giving me that pep talk like before you actually like jump into it, whatever. So it's dope talking to people that's in the same position that you're trying to get to. So like Mass Appeal, shout out to Mass Appeal. They all show love. The whole office showed me love when I came up there.
Nice.
So.
Do you have give us maybe a Young Atlas exclusive of one of those gems you heard that really resonated with you, that you heard maybe speaking to them, you know? That
Jungle, one thing, he's big on God, just like trust God, bro. Just trust God and just always like follow don't, like if your gut is telling you not to do something, don't do it. Just stay true to yourself and just really trust God with every step of the way.
Gotcha. No, I appreciate it. Is there any other, drops you want to shout out before we wrap it up here?
You know, shout out to Jersey, man. Shout out to Bergen County. Shout out to Young Atlas for having me up for this interview. And you can follow me on Instagram as well, SULES Music, Sule's Music. You can follow my SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sule's Music. Follow me on Twitter. Everything, I got the same @name for everything. So Sule's Music, SULES Music. So you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, follow me on SoundCloud, follow my Spotify page, Apple Music page, everything. And,
Appreciate you sitting down with us.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
No problem.